Hello and welcome to the fourth DVD of this series of Hapkido Blend. In this DVD series, I'm going to cover how to use a knife. In my opinion, there's what's called conventional weapons and non-conventional weapons. Conventional weapons will be like staff and nunchuck and sword and all the great martial art weapons out there that are great to know, but not very practical when it gets down to actually using it. I found that knife is one of the ones that are really extremely useful. I live in California, so it is legal to carry a knife, so I always have a blade on me as long as it's showing. And I don't carry it necessarily to hurt people, but I've used it in many different times, and a couple of times actually I've used it to cut a seat belt from somebody that had an accident. So, just to show you that it's something that actually comes handy. I want to give credit to where I learned all my knife fighting from, and that's from Sifu Ron Balicki, who really opened my eyes to what the knife can do, and kind of challenged me into go back from what I used to know about the knife and blocking it in certain ways and some of the traditional stuff, and knowing that somebody who knows how to use a knife can really do a lot of damage, right? And in some instances, in some aspects, I prefer to have a knife in my hand rather than actually have a gun. Anyway, so pay attention to it carefully, to some of the stuff, and if you choose to follow up with it, seek out, Sifu Ron Balicki. I know Century has a lot of different DVDs with him, and he can follow up on the knowledge. I'm going to only introduce you to a part of it, something that, again, for me, it's not the knife fighting we're after, it's what it teaches me at the same time, and it's a part of the puzzle about being a complete martial artist. The concept that I want to introduce you to really quick right now in these DVDs is what we call your primary greatness and secondary greatness. And as a martial artist and as a person, for me, if I do martial arts, that's a secondary greatness. If I play music, that's a secondary greatness. If I do computers, that's a secondary greatness. Or if somebody is pretty, to me, that's a secondary greatness. But a primary greatness is more, you're an honest person, you're giving, you're loving, and those are what we call a primary greatness about someone. So unfortunately, these days, being popular, it has to do with your secondary greatnesses, about what you do, your singing, the way you look. To me, being beautiful is a primary greatness, not necessarily a second one, but being pretty or being compared to other people, that's a secondary greatness. So my challenge to you is, as a martial artist first, and as a person first, and as a martial artist, is to go back and train people and train yourself to do better and raise your standards on your primary greatnesses first. Okay? Recognize what they are and work on them, and the secondary greatness will follow along. So not necessarily, not all winners, not all famous people are winners, and only a few winners will ever become famous because they're too busy winning. I've learned that most people who, collect all the, motivational sayings and, put them in pretty plaques, and including me, which I used to do that for years, those are the first people that don't do that. They don't do it themselves. It's a secondary greatness for them. They don't practice it, but they want other people to know that that's what they're doing. So go back, researching yourself, go after people that their presence, what they're doing, is they're teaching you by the way they're being. I'm more impressed by somebody's character rather than their competency, because I know there's a lot of people out there who are competent, but the character level, if you get a teacher who their character and competency at the same level or close to each other, you're blessed. Because my experience with martial artists has been, either the competency level is so high that they're awesome in what they do, but who they are is no good, that I don't trust them, right? Or the other way around, which you meet someone who's the nicest person, most trustworthy person, but they can't kick themselves out of a wet bag, So where do you draw the line about being a good martial artist? Is to put those two together. You want your character and your competency and your students at the same time, to raise both of them at the same time. So I'm going to leave you with that thought, and have a great time and happy training.